How many of you are on Facebook, on Yahoo? Yeah. Anybody on the Twitter? On the line? Well, you read about these stories and you read about this and that, but I'll tell you, I've got a good pastor friend of mine. He's kind of older, a little bit older in years, and you know how you get old, your teeth start going bad a little bit, and that's what happened to him. And he had to go to the dentist. It's a true story, by the way. True story, by the way. He went to the dentist to have the remaining teeth pulled and getting fitted for dentures, and you know how that goes. If maybe some of you know how that goes. But was getting fitted for dentures, had the rest of his teeth pulled, and his mouth was real sore, got fitted for his new dentures. First Sunday rolls around for him to preach, and he preaches 10 minutes. People are kind of wondering what's going on. Another week goes by, gets up to preach, preaches 20 minutes. People are kind of wondering what's happening here. Another week goes by, and that Sunday he gets up and he preaches an hour and a half. Hour and a half. Man, a lot of people are wondering what's going on, but nobody had the courage to ask him. But one of the deacons that knows him pretty well came up to him after service and said, "Pastor, man, you know, we noticed a few weeks ago you preached 10 minutes. We were all kind of relieved to get out that early, and you know, it was kind of nice. The next week you preached 20 minutes. He said, "But man, this Sunday you preached an hour and a half. What happened?" The pastor said, "Well, you know, the first week my mouth was so sore I couldn't speak. It just hurt to talk. So I could only preach 10 minutes. He said the next week, you know, it didn't hurt as bad, so I was able to go a little bit longer." And the deacon said, but this week you preached an hour and a half. What happened?" He said, "Well, this morning I accidentally put my wife's dentures in." Well, let's get on with the show. We got a great show for you. Got a great show for you tonight. We're going to go ahead and get right in there. And I know that you all love that joke, and it hit home with some of you actually. This evening we've got a new author. She wrote a book, 10 Things That Every Church Needs. Great book by Dr. Emily Hadley, PhD. And why don't everybody welcome her to the show right now? Doctor, would you come?
Yeah!
Wow, she even looks like a doctor, doesn't she? Thank you, Dr. Emily. Have a seat there. Wow. I mean, this is a pretty intense subject here. 10 things every church needs. So you think you have a handle on what every church needs, and it's only 10 things?
Yes. I've done lots of research, lots of interviews, lots of work went into this book, and I am confident that these are the 10 things that every church absolutely must do.
Wow, that's amazing. And I see here that you've written some other books. Right here it says that you wrote a book called God is Good. What's that one about? I mean,
it's just about how God is good.
Wow, that's really cool.
Like the title says.
It says also that you wrote a book called God Has Your Back.
He does. God has your back all the time. He's God's got your back.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That sounds like an interesting book, but this one I'm a little bit. It says you wrote a book called "A Worm Ate My Sandwich." Yeah, it says it right here. See? A worm ate my sandwich.
This one time, you know.
See there? A worm ate my sandwich.
It happened. True story.
So you wrote a book about it.
I did.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just curious. I haven't read that one yet. I'm going to have to read that one. That's an interesting title. It's definitely one of those catches your eye when you. There you go. Awesome. Well, let's get right into this because we've got a limited amount of time on our show tonight. I want to go through these. I wrote down the points. I read the book and most of it, and the first point you have here is that, and I want to mention too before we get too far into it, what we did with the audience, studio audience, is as they came in tonight, we gave every member of our studio audience a piece of paper and a pencil, and they were allowed to write. They wrote down what they thought the church needed most of all, as opposed to maybe 10 things.
I'm sure most of them will agree with me too. I'm
well,
very confident
we'll
that
see.
We're going to have similar.
We'll see if they do. But they wrote down what they think every church needs. And number one, you have here that every church needs a rock star pastor. I mean, what?
Absolutely. Every church, this is America, this is the 21st century. We can't have a pastor who just gets up here and teaches the Bible and, wears this boring suit and there's nothing else going on. You have to have a rock star pastor. Pastors have to know how to entertain now.
What do you guys think about that?
Want to be entertained.
Okay, you wanted to say something. What's your name?
I'm sure she agrees with me. I'm sure.
Emerson.
Where are you from, Emerson?
Laporte.
Laporte. Wow, that's quite a drive. I'm surprised you made it all the way here. Awesome. Go ahead. Tell us what you wrote.
Don't you think, along with the pastor being gifted, that the church should be gifted as well, as in like gifts of the Spirit, as in healing, knowledge, and wisdom?
What do you think about that?
Those things are okay, but it's more important. As I say, I have a PhD, I did lots of research, and the pastor needs to be a rock star. That's a little more important, I think.
Oh, boy, the crowd's kind of rough this evening. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, you are a doctor, I guess. I mean, and you wrote a book. I mean, so I guess you know some things. Also, you've got down here that dress code. 10 things every church needs, a dress code. Also, you have point 3 is assigned seats. Dress code and assigned seats. I mean, I've never heard of that before.
Yes, we have to have, we have our rock star pastor. We have people who, they know how to dress, they dress good, and those are usually the people that contribute a lot to the church. And you know what I'm talking about, like, money, they contribute a lot. So those people deserve a little extra recognition. They deserve to be recognized for what they're doing for the church.
Okay, all right. Well, we've got one of our studio. What's your name, sir?
My name is Lauren Van.
Oh, that's a great name. That's a great name.
I'm sure he's going to agree.
Where are you from?
Michigan City.
Michigan City. Awesome. Local guy. Hey, tell us what did you write down?
Well, I was thinking that there's a lot of focus on the things that the church needs being inside of the church. Shouldn't the focus be more on, reaching out to people and being an influence? The Bible says we're supposed to be a shining city on a hill. So don't you think there should be more focus on things that aren't in the church and more outreach?
Well, I suppose you could do that if you wanted, but I'm talking more about what's going on inside these four walls because, let's face it, that's more important than what's going on outside the four walls.
Yeah, I don't see that in your book anywhere about outreach or anything.
No. Well, I'll touch on that one later, but...
Okay. Well, I don't know, crowd, what do you think about that? I mean...
Boo!
Doctor, I'm sorry, they're kind of not with you tonight, I don't think. Yeah. Jeez. There must be Illinois people in here tonight. Illinois people. Sorry. All right, number 4. Let's see, I'm going to just put 4 and 5 together so that we can cover all of these because we've got another segment of our show that we need to get to. It says donuts and coffee vending machines. Donuts and coffee and vending machines. 10 things every church needs. You do know what needs are, right?
Absolutely.
Needs.
Who doesn't like donuts and coffee? Come on, audience. Are you with me?
Woo! Yeah!
Donuts and coffee. And if you're hungry, what better way to come to church and be fed than with some donuts and coffee?
What about what, like Jesus said, man shall not live by bread alone, but out of
That was just a figure of speech.
every mouth, every word that proceeds out.
That was just a figure of speech.
A figure of speech?
I've done research, PhD, remember?
Okay. I'm sorry, young lady. Go ahead. What's your name?
Abby.
Abby. Awesome. Where are you from, Abby?
Michigan City.
Michigan's another local girl. Awesome. Go ahead. Tell us.
Well, don't you think instead of people being hungry for
research, and it is proven that coffee and donuts are more interesting than anything God has to give you to eat.
Wow. Well, again, she's a PhD. I don't know how much that, okay. All right. Well, hey, number 6 and 7, you say lights, and music. Both 10 things every church needs. They need lights and they need music. Are you talking about lights so we can read?
No, not just any lighting. Interesting music. Like I mentioned already, the church wants to be entertained now. That's what it's all about, is entertainment. It has to be like a TV set. We have to have interesting lighting and good music. No more, boring music. We don't want organs or, no.
No organs. Okay, Olivia, what's your name? What's your name, Olivia? Go ahead and get the mic where we can hear you. Okay, what's your name?
Olivia.
Wow. Go ahead, Olivia. Tell us.
Instead of just having power in the lights and the music team, we have power in the people to praise God and worship Him.
Woo!
That isn't what the church needs. The lights and the music are what the church needs. That's going to make the people want to come in and attend your church. They need awesome lighting and awesome music.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I guess a little lighting doesn't hurt, huh?
Lighting's good.
Okay, you say point 8, social media. What are we talking about there? Social media. 10 things every church needs.
This is a big one, and Rudy, you've already touched on it a little bit. You talked about the Facebook and the Twitter. The church needs a Facebook and a Twitter account, because I know some of you are probably, in Rudy's audience right now, checking your Facebook and Twitter. So churches need to have Facebook and Twitter. So when the congregation is bored, they can be on their cell phones checking their Facebook.
Okay, we have someone here. Go ahead, young lady. What's your name?
Samantha,
Samantha, where are you from?
Michigan City.
Wow, a lot of local folks tonight. Go ahead, Samantha.
Instead of social medias, don't you think you should have a bus ministry to bring kids to church that their parents don't go to church? So instead of being on social medias, they can feel the love of God in the church.
Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
People with you if you want. That's fine.
Sir, what do you have to say? What's your name?
Zach?
Zach. Awesome. We don't care where you're from, so go ahead and tell us.
I'm sure you're talking about social media, but isn't it more important to have outreach in the community so that people will want to come to church? Outreach to homeless people, disabled, prison ministry, even children, so they'll want to come to church instead of just letting them know stuff on social media.
Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
Actually, I'm glad you brought that point up, because my next point, Rudy, as you can see, is that you need to have at least 2 church services. And the reason you need at least 2 church services is because you have to have one service that's, for the regular church people. The people who come to church all the time and who, know how to act and behave in church. And then you need to have that separate church service for, then that's when you can bring the homeless people and the children and stuff like that. That's when that's okay. You have to have separate ones. That is definitely something your church needs.
Wow. You mean kind of like the Pharisees, right?
No.
Yes. Okay, young lady, what's your name?
Angel.
Angel? Okay, go ahead, tell us.
Isn't that what you just said, having 2 separate churches, is that kind of opposite of what the Bible says? Jesus hung around with people that were homeless and the disabled and even prostitutes and people that were sick with leprosy and all of that. And we were made to be like Jesus in His image, and we're supposed to be like Jesus. So aren't we supposed to hang out with those people and show them the love of God too?
Yes, but those were different times. That was back then, this is now. Like I keep telling you people, this is the 21st century and we're in America. Things need to be done a little bit differently.
Young lady, go ahead. What's your name?